I am so frustrated with the Game 2 loss to the Cavs. And look, you said something that piqued my interest because you're right. It's not surprising, I guess. You kind of wait for the Celtics to have an off shooting night and the Cavs to sort of play out her body. We saw this happen against the Heat as well. So it's not so much surprising loss that has me frustrated. It's more about how they lost. I mean, look, going into the fourth quarter, Adam, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It was still relatively close, and I said this feels like a moment for Jason Tatum to take over. We just watched Donovan Mitchell go absolutely ape, you know what, in the third quarter. Great. Celtics are at home. Tatum's having a better scoring night. This feels like the moment. Give him the ball, take over the fourth quarter, go get it, take a commanding 2-0 series lead against a Cavs team that you should be outclassing. You are better than. And that's my frustration. That's what I'm getting off my chest here, Adam. That was the furthest thing that happened. I mean, at some point, I've been defending Tatum along the way. The Heat series, game 1 against the Cavs, because he's helping you in other ways. It's not just scoring. But this was a moment. You're scoring better in game 2. The fourth quarter should be yours. And it's our complaint of Tatum always. All Celtics fans, all media members feel the same way with this guy. I mean, you idolize Kobe. Where's the Mamba mentality at? He just never really gives me that. Not consistently. We've seen it in pockets, obviously, against the Bucks. Game 6 a few years back. I mean, there's been moments where we've seen it. He's flashed it at him, but it's not consistent enough for me. That's what I'm getting off my chest. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overreact to one loss. I mean, I think ultimately the Celtics are going to win this series, but we've seen this time and time again where they take their foot off the gas pedal. You talk about the killer instinct, not just with Jason Tatum, but just the team as a whole. They never really sort of just take it to the other team. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, they live and die by the three. When the threes aren't falling, they're usually losing. And so that's a problem for the Celtics. Now, in terms of Jason Tatum's game, he had 25 points tonight, 18 points in the game 1 win. You know, until he wins a championship, people are going to say this about him. And that's the difference. You mentioned the Mamba mentality, Kobe winning all those championships. Other players like Steph Curry who have won championships. They've had off games in the playoffs before. But until you win a championship, people are going to criticize you and they're going to scrutinize you for not having that killer instinct. And Jason Tatum hasn't won it yet. And so people are going to look at his game and they're going to look at games like tonight where you have the opportunity to own the fourth quarter, to take it to the house, to get the game 2 win on your home court and have a 2-0 lead going into Cleveland, and you don't do it. And that's what people are going to look at. That's what people think of Jason Tatum now. That could change in the future. Again, Celtics are going to win the series. They're probably going to the NBA Finals, but again, not punching their ticket just then. Then he'll have an opportunity to do that. But until that happens, Travis, those are the questions people are going to have.
All right, so listen, this is our take, but we need to hear from you, our co-host. So hit us up on the Boston has entered the chat hotline, 617-790-0928, and also send us your tweets. Adam, this show's interactive. The tweets were rolling in, my friend. Let's get into it. I mean, my man, Boston diehards, death, taxes, and the Celtics making things way harder than they need to be. May the show say amen, Adam Pellerin.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the Celtics do, right? And I think, you know, we had talked about it in the first round before the series started against the Heat. I said, you know what? The Celtics are going to win this series, no question. They're the much better team. But I don't want them to play with their food. And they played with their food. And I think a loss like tonight could hurt them in the long run, right? Because the wear and tear and making things harder than they need to be. You need to win the games on your home court. You need to protect your home court. They didn't do that tonight.
More tweets. Andy Hart says, Bruins blown out. Celtics blown out. Playoffs not trending great in Boston the last 24 hours. Now, this is where outside of Boston, fans get so upset with Boston because, oh, you guys win all the time. Oh, your teams are in the playoffs. You win all the championships. Now that I'm here, I want to just tell all those people to shut the hell up because the standard is the standard, okay? You're not allowed to feel emotion when your teams lose. Of course you are. I mean, listen, well said, Andy Hart. It has not been going well in the last 24 hours. The tweets continue. Dying by the three is much less fun than living by it. They don't tell you about the dying part. Well said, handsome, be wonderful. I'm sure you are handsome, and that is a wonderful tweet because you're right. I mean, look, Adam, the way they play, brother, it's very pickup basketball. I mean, look, I'm not asking.
Well, that's the NBA, man. That's the NBA.
I know.
If you want to watch real basketball, watch college basketball.
That's what I was going to say. I'm not asking for the Princeton offense here. I get it. But, again, kind of going back to what I was saying and get this off of my chest, in the fourth quarter, give the ball to draw something up for Jason Tatum, right? Like no one else. Yeah. And let's go here for a second because I'm looking at these numbers. As a team, Adam, 8 from 35 from 3. That's 23%. Yeah. 0 for 8 from 3 in the third quarter. This is as a team now. 2 of 8 from 3 in the second half. 2 of 18 from 3 in the second half. At times, just from what I saw, it felt like, particularly in the fourth quarter, guys were almost standing around waiting for Tatum. Again, we talk in the Heat series about Derek White balling out, Jaylen Brown balling out. Well, game one, kind of similar. They carried Tatum, if you want to say that in terms of scoring, even though Tatum was giving you other things. Adam, tonight, Derek White finished with 10 points. No one shot the ball well. I'm not picking on people here, but he was 3 for 11 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3. Jaylen Brown was aggressive in terms of shooting from the floor, 7 of 17, just like Tatum was, but he was 0 from three-point range, 0 for 6. He finished with 19. So you're not getting the production from the guys who carried you from a scoring perspective up until this point. And what I observed in the fourth almost felt like it was like, give it to Tatum and let him take over. It's his turn. And he came up short. That's what I saw. Even though the whole team didn't shoot well, Adam, it did in moments, in pockets, feel like they were just waiting on Tatum to take over, and it never happened.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the three-point ball. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not hating on it, but there has to be good ball movement, generating good looks. And they were doing that in the first quarter. They were doing that at the beginning, right? They went on this 14-5 run to start the game. They were 2 of 3 from 3. Then all of a sudden, the script flipped because Cleveland said, oh, you know what? We're going to take it inside. And Evan Mobley had 9 points in the first quarter. Evan Mobley finished with 21 points. The Cavs as a team finished with over 60 points in the paint without Jared Allen in their lineup. Right. And so they were able to do that. And you mentioned not having Kristaps Porzingis earlier, how that could play a role in this series moving forward. Well, if they get Allen back and there's no Porzingis, that could play an even bigger part. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But, when the Celtics didn't shoot well, they, in the second quarter, started going to the basket. We saw it. They had their 4 straight baskets were in the paint. So they started going inside, and they started to create some separation. It's like, that's when I thought the run was going to happen, Trav, in that second quarter. Right, the Celtics were down. The Cavs went on a 25-10 run, right. And had it not been for the 3 at the end of the first quarter, Jason Tatum hitting it and getting it to a 6-point game again, the Cavs would have gone on this 25-7 run up by 9. Big 3 by Tatum at the time. Then the Celtics come back and tie it. They take the lead, but they were going inside. And guess what that was doing, Travis? That was generating open looks from 3.
That's right.
And so when I say I don't have a problem with the 3 ball, when you're going inside and then you've established that and then you're able to dish out and get guys good looks, that's when it's a good thing. And they hit a couple in that second quarter. But then they went away from that for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you would. Maybe the Cavs figured out something defensively where they were squeezing the Celtics and not allowing them to get those shots in the paint like they were earlier.
Yeah.
But the Celtics weren't hitting their shots from downtown. And when they can't go inside and they can't shoot from outside,
Right.
it's a bad recipe.